Welcome to a review on Left 4 Dead 1 and 2, but first we'll be talking about Left 4 Dead 1, which is basically the most classic one you can talk about. So, this video will only be, well, roughly short, but quite quick as well, but very informative, as, well, you may have seen one time I did a Portal review, and yes, it was a good game. So, why not let's look at Left 4 Dead, starting with the first one. But to start it all off, we have to talk about the menu. It's a good style of menu, good music, and, well, a good layout. Just have a listen to the music. To fully start our little review of Left 4 Dead, let's talk about the, well, basics. So simply, we have different levels, which are extremely nice, such as No Mercy, Death Toll, Dead Air, and well, so on, and the Sacrifice as well. I may have missed one out due to the silliness of memory loss. But yeah, it's pretty basic for missions, but we also have our lovable characters, where we have the Army Veteran Bill, Zoe, Francis, and Lewis. As we can all guess, Lewis is the comic relief guy, the positive guy, who, well, makes the situation much better. To fully get into the review of Left 4 Dead and 2, which will come later, I'll mostly be talking about the main stuff, such as cinematics, the weather, the setting, the enemies and how the AI works, and so let's start with the AI. So, simply, you can play the game with your friends or on your own, or you can do versus, which is quite fun, as one team will be the infected, like with specials and all that, and the other team will be the survivors, such as Bill, Lewis, Zoe, Francis, those are the survivors, and the AI is broken, but good at the same time. Just depends on where you're at. You could be sitting on a car and get knocked down and they won't be able to get to you and just start jumping on the spot, hitting the griddy and whatever. But that's not really the biggest point of the entire game. But let's talk about No Mercy right now, since that'll be in our background footage to show you everything about that specific level. You can see how the weather can change in the scenario. It can be rainy, stormy, but you can always see No Mercy Hospital in the background. Well, if you look around, and you may be also seeing the helicopter zooming around as well. In other types of reviews like this, I'll be putting this in a two-parter, as I'll be on to talk about Left 4 Dead 1, and then next episode will be Left 4 Dead 2. I may have a special guest as well, but who knows. So, what else can I actually talk about? Well, obviously let's talk about the enemies. So simply, you'll see infected, which are your normal zombie characters who will, well, run at you, and they all have different types of clothing. And that makes it more interesting, as they all have a different style and personality. As you can see in the background footage, you can see some of them sitting down, vomiting, sleeping, resting, many types, or you can even see them fighting each other. And well, it's quite interesting. But it then soon leads up to the use of special infected, which are by far the most impressive bit about them. I know this game is, well, pretty old, but it is still very, very impressive for how it was. As well, if you use the community mode, which will be speech bubbles and all that, they'll tell you how everything was actually made. As for the fact that all the corpses you see around fences, houses, all of them, are usually ragdolls. As that can be explained in Left 4 Dead 2, that will come later, as one said. But as always, let's continue my little rant about, well, let's talk about, so many things really. Let's talk about the sounds, the music, on certain cases. As always, you'll be walking around the level, depending on what you're doing, And you may be wondering, let's go in this room for a little bit. You walk in, searching around, and you can hear different noises. But I can always indicate a possible music scenario, which is the RNG of Hordes. And yep, Hordes, it is absolutely hectic, and it can do numerous things, as you could accidentally activate a tank, and it'll chase you, and a Horde music will start coming in, and it's absolutely menacing, since tanks are more powerful in groups of zombies, or shall I say infected. But you have to keep an eye out on the specials, which will be mentioned right now. As I've already mentioned, the tank is the big brute. You have boomers, the big fat guys who can puke on you with bile, and well, you've been boomered. But we can also explode, which also attracts the infected towards you, especially since it's bile. You could be the only one who got attacked by a boomer, blown up or biled on, and the zombies will only attack you and no one else. But who else is there? Well, you have the smoker. And it isn't his name, he coughs like mad, as if he was a heavy chain smoker who smokes 10 a day. But he also has that long tongue, which is extremely interesting for his character design and model. As well, his main attack is to stand on rooftops or far away, and, well, tongue you? Well, tie you up and drag you towards him, and then he starts beating down on you. Yep, it may sound weird, but don't worry, it's not the weirdest one.
Very good.
But we also have the emo guy, who's, well, a hunter. You can imagine him in fan fictions with the witch, who I'll be mentioning later. The hunter will always be the sneakiest, and, as I forgot to mention, all specials have their own music and little spawn cues. As soon as a boomer spawns, it'll have a little sound cue. But that's obviously an example. The hunter will obviously stay far away, stalk you around, and if you're alone, it will pounce on you and shred you apart. And that makes him the most deadliest. But he is extremely fast, as he can possibly fit in with the common infected. And now we finally have the witch, and people love it. Apparently, it's just weird. The interesting design of wearing only a bra and a bit of pants is quite interesting, but there's a lot of lore for all the enemies, and well, mainly specials, as the witch will instantly knock you down no matter what. It's more terrifying on expert difficulty, and well, a hunter and a witch is a bad mix. So, let's talk about the idea of, the setting of the locations. As I mentioned, there are many locations, which, well, possibly been mentioned, but it also includes the fact of the different endings where the survivors escape on. What do I mean? Well, simple. Through all the safe rooms, you'll always see messages on the wall. What kind of messages? Well, they can either be funny, little Easter eggs, or quite dark tones. As you can see, some people have left their families to go to barricades, or go to the military. Which is, well, a type of bad idea due to the level called The Sacrifice, linking to the comics. Yes, Left 4 Dead has comics. And they do look rather interesting for its art style, even due to the little Easter eggs like TF2 at Lewis's office building. But there are many other reasons to make it look cooler, as I will be showing one of the endings for No Mercy, which is the background footage at certain points. To finally end this little episode, we'll be talking about the ending now. So for No Mercy's ending, it's rather simple. We are on a rooftop and we have to stay there for, well, exactly 15 minutes. Because, well, say, the rescue will always tell you how long you have to wait for. It's roughly 15 minutes or 10 minutes. And so a crescendo event will happen, which is the rescue, and therefore you just save yourself for 15 minutes while you're given certain items, usually a minigun, health kits, ammo, and tier 2 weapons, which are very more than useful. But obviously, as you see, I could be using a pipe bomb or Molotov to slow the damage down, but obviously the risks when you're on a high building and you can get punched off by a tank, which is obviously everyone's worst nightmare. So there's many endings such as helicopters or boats, as that can be shown in Crash Course, Dead Air, or Death Toll, or the Sacrifice, but the Sacrifice is different as to get a special achievement you have to kill Bill, and that follows the story, which is where Bill sacrificed himself. Spoiler there, sorry about that. But overall that will be, well, tell you the end of the episode now, so honestly, see you later and hope you enjoyed the video, bye.